Hello and welcome to Frank's School. This is the 125th day of the 5th year, first video and only video. And I want to deal with a question about what happens to Frank's School after I'm gone. I'm not going to be here forever. So what happens? The online part, I think, will just take care of itself. It'll probably just always be there. I don't know. And you see, I'm healthy again, but I'm still philosophical. My shoulders are fine. My heart does not speed up, and the doctor said, don't worry about it. I have a little bit of a cough, but I'm healthy again. But that period of time where my heart, and then whatever it was, I think now it was shingles, I think. Whatever it was, I thought, I can't finish this job, and so it made me philosophical. Well, as I say, I'm pretty healthy now, but there's this lingering cough I've got, and I can work, but I'm still philosophical. It kind of left its mark, I think. The light's different. It's brighter. I don't know what that's going to look like. Oh, and suspenders. This is a new me. I made the change. I had to. I'm getting so skinny that if I carry my hammer and stuff in my pockets, my hips weren't big enough to hold the weight. So anyway, this is a new me. I think I love them. All right. What happens here? I don't so much mean online. I mean all this stuff I'm doing. Is it going to have to be decommissioned? Imagine that I'm gone, and there's my wife and son and daughter with all this. What do they do? Well, pallets, you can burn pallets. That's not a problem. They'll actually make firewood. Steel is recyclable, and I've made a fairly small footprint in a lot of ways, and so I wouldn't have to leave a big mess, but there'd be a lot of work involved in that. Also, at an auction, an awful lot of the stuff that I have is valuable. I'm not unbelievably valuable, but still at an auction, there's a lot of money that could come in. So I'm dealing with imagining what happens if, well, nobody wants this. That was fine, what Frank was playing with and doing all that stuff as if there were never going to be an end, and he kept doing it and doing it and doing it, but who's going to clean the mess up? In my life, I have cleaned up an awful lot of other people's messes, and I don't like the idea that I'm making one now. And in my eyes, I'm not, but the thing is, I continue to be very much alone with this. I hire some help now and then, just a little bit of help from a couple of guys, but this is still pretty much my thing. The stuff I'm doing. But that's sort of worst case scenario, if it really does have to be decommissioned. And then there's a problem of, all right, what then? Because this land is not really mowable. Not really, unless you mowed it with a scythe, because of all the footprints from what was done earlier. The village that was here, that could be bulldozed again, I suppose. But even that wouldn't. It just, when you do something like has been done here, the footprints there. But then, like my cousin has pretty much let the land just go back to wild, to nature. So that's a possibility too, certainly. And mow in around the house and stuff. I don't know. But anyway, on a more optimistic note, I thought about this being philosophical. I thought, well, what is going to happen here? What could happen? This isn't going to be a company. But a cooperative. I remembered that. A cooperative. Yes, that would be an option. That's what my first wife, Joyce, and I did in Brazil. It took us 3 years, and we created the Cooperativa Artesanal Mista de Catolé do Rocha, the artisans mixed cooperative of Catolé do Rocha, and it still exists. It's, I don't know, it's getting to be, seems like 50 years later. No, it's not quite 50, but 25 or 45. and it's still there. And yes, that could be done. A cooperative could own everything, except the land. I mean, the land goes into the family way, way, way back. Well, back to my grandfather, and it's been a family farm for 75 years and stuff. And I imagine family members are now always going to want this land. But all these little buildings that I've built, these huts, actually they're movable. You could take one of them down in a day or less, and you could put it back up in a couple days somewhere else. You could actually transport the entire collection. There may be 30 before I'm done of these small buildings. All the tools, all the benches. Yeah, that is not, a lot of that is not going to be of, it's conceivable that it wouldn't be of use to anybody else in the family, but a cooperative could move it elsewhere, put it on another campus. Anyway, a cooperative, what's different about a cooperative, and I was sort of surprised that it took me so long to remember that they existed, because we preached that in Brazil. It was a new idea. One member, one vote. You could own stock in a cooperative, but if you owned 10 shares, that didn't give you 10 votes. Or if you owned 75% of the shares, you didn't have any more votes in decision making than a person with one share or 1% of the shares. It's not like a corporation. The Brazilian government was leery of cooperatives, and other places have been that way too, because they seem a little bit like communism, socialism, not dependent on who has the most capital. It's quite a different idea, cooperativismo. I could probably speak about it better in Portuguese than English. And it was funny, when I came back to the United States, I was still imbued with this, and the farm has a cooperative. There's lots of cooperatives in the United States. The farmers, the big grain operators, they have cooperatives. But that was so different from what we had done. There's probably even artisan cooperatives. So it's not unheard of. And in Pennsylvania, the state where I am, there is law which governs cooperatives. So that could be done. And I may eventually, another year or two or something, I may set about the process of figuring out about doing that. I still hope for help someday, help in what I'm doing. This year isn't the year for it, but maybe next year. And woofers, people who would just think, oh, that's such a good idea what you're doing, we're just going to give you a month of time and work, and you don't have to pay us, we're just going to help you out. Actually, that does happen. That does happen. And my apprentice, although he's in high school still, has basically sometimes he talks about giving me a year's work, because he wants to learn and all that. So, so anyway, woofers would be a possibility, and sometimes people show up and they say, hey, that looks like fun, I'd like to help you out. Or call themselves student teachers in Frank's school. They could teach and they could learn, but there does have to be something ultimately about ownership when I'm gone. I mean, at the moment I can be a dictator, and entirely my show. And then also there's the matter of, is Frank's school online worth anything? The copyright, who knows, I might end up having over 2,000 videos, maybe more, when I'm done. Is that worth anything? They're out there for free. I don't know. I mean, I think my channel owns the copyright. I don't know. Anyway, I'm taking this time, back in my health here, but I'm taking this time to use this word. There might be the key word, to do that all over again. What I did when I was 25 years old with my first wife, what we did. Go back and do it again. Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. All right, bye for now.